I'm just saying.
Defense can't stop anybody.
Now, I agree with you. But however, we do have an offense that can score. And if we can keep that offense together, get the defense maybe to improve a little bit, we have a shot.
Can they,
a shot in the playoffs.
That's my question, though. Can they? Because this is a game you would have thought the defense would have been able to improve on. James Conner looked all world out.
And that's the problem right there. When you talk about, it wasn't as like they had a myriad of plays that they were running in order for them to do it. They were running simple plays. I'm talking about plays they ran back the Washington, back in the when the Redskins, when they had, guys running about the hogs up front. They were running power, which is block front side, gap front side, and pull the backside guard. They were running counter tray, pull a guard and tackle around, and they were just picking this hole. James Conner stopped, looked,
what did I say?
and then turned around and went downhill.
What did I say?
It's ridiculous.
What was my biggest concern in the pregame was Arizona's running game.
Yep.
And the Eagles' run defense I mean, look, the last 8 games, they're giving up 150 rushing yards a game.
100. I thought it was 130. It's 150
plus
now.
Today. Brings it up close to 150.
Come on,
the Eagles haven't stopped a running back in a month and a half.
Maybe we need another defensive coordinator.
It's about time.
Well, where do we go now? I mean, at this point, all right, we had to sigh. Now, we went Matt Patricia. Where do we go right now? We can't stop the bleed. You know what? And I'm not even going to blame it on how bad the play calling was this game. It has more to do with how lax this team went out there and tried to execute what they need to execute. We couldn't tackle. We couldn't get off blocks. We got pushed around a lot. That's the most disheartening thing I'm saying. We got pushed around. We got totally punked out there. Say what they want to say. They outright just played better than us as far as emotionally. Them going out fired up. This is the fourth time I've seen this team. No, fifth time I've seen this team get beat up. You know what I'm saying? Get beat up like that. I saw Seattle do it. Yeah. We know that the 49ers kicked our ass. And then you turn around and look at the way Dallas came out. When we're getting out-manned like that, out-physical like that, that just shows the character that you have right now as a team. Get mad at me all you want as a player, but at the end of the day, it was simple football. They weren't trying to hide anything. They weren't trying to – you can't sugarcoat what happened. You got punched in the mouth. You let it happen. Yeah. I'm calling a spade a spade. We got dominated on that field today.
It shoved it right down their throat.
Yes, it made us like it.
That's what was bad.
And that's what has been happening to this team since, really since that Cowboys-Niners stretch. They just never recovered.
Exactly. I mean, and it's
just
physical
never
football.
recovered.
Physical football is winning games.
And we made excuses for those losses.
Yeah.
We made excuses. We should have had a better field. We made excuses because, they played on Monday. They had to travel across. It was 3 tough teams in a row.
Gauntlet,
it's hard to come. What?
Gauntlet.
Yeah, it was a tough team.
I think that's part of it. I think that took a lot out of them.
I did.
Well, we just lost Arizona. What's our excuse to lose Arizona?
I made too many excuses.
They got no fight left.
I made too many excuses. In fact, I look at my phone and I can go down and I apologize to everybody that's been texting me because I know when you text me, we go back and forth. I couldn't go back and forth with you guys today. I was watching the game because I was so irritated and pissed off that I usually go back, John, all you guys, I'm sorry, Captain Tony, I'm sorry because at the end of the day, I was watching us get totally dominated up front, pushed around like we were little kids. We let a Cardinals team act like they're the big kids on the block. They made us like it right there, and I'm hurting right now. I am so mad right now, not because we lost the game the way we lost it, but it's the manner in which we got pushed around and punked like that. To me, you got to play physical football. They did not go out there and play physical. They outgunned us just from the strength of muscle. Yeah, they outmuscled us right now.
And I know we didn't have the ball much, as Ruben's pointed out, but
and that's because they outmuscled us. We couldn't get out the field.
We had 23 rushes for 91 yards against the worst rushing defense in the National Football League.
It's ridiculous.
Last week, the Bears had 250 yards rushing against this defense.
Well, we have to have the ball to do it.
Let's take a look.
We had to have the ball longer. Look at that time possession.
Team comparison brought to you by Discover Lancaster Tourism, and these are the numbers that these guys are talking about: total yards, pass yard, everything. There is not a single thing. The time of possession is so glaring in this one. And Charles, you and I talked at halftime. It was even more. It was 20-8 at that point.
It was awful.
It was out of control.
Cards had 32 first downs. It's their most in a game since 2008. 2008. Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner. There you go. Kurt Warner was there. And it was and that's something that Barrett, you're talking about. What is it about the team? They just, when they had to get a stop, they could not.
It's not
I
good
know
enough.
everybody that but you're talking about like the gauntlet. Is it that too? Is it also that they were running through everything else and it just came to fruition
this
today?
This was the number 6 defense in the NFL going into that stretch of games. Something happened. Whatever they had, they lost. Older guys started playing poorly, started wearing down. Guys played too many snaps. Guys stopped making plays. And, you know, you have an entire defense going through that. This is what you get. You get a defense that can't stop anybody, that looks gassed, misses tackles, out of position, taking bad angles to the ball. They just looked spent to me. They looked like they had nothing left. They had no fight left.
Yeah, and that's, I think we saw that.
And I would agree with Rube's sentiment there. As I saw the season wore on, you see Carter playing less snaps, Davis playing less snaps, Fletcher Cox playing more, bringing Brandon Graham in to play inside. The young guys who are supposed to carry the team look gassed. Where is the conditioning in the program? We hear, I know the NFL's different. They don't run gas anymore. They don't hit anymore at practice. I'm not sure they practice anymore. But, you know, when you're getting pushed around, it's not a good sign of where you're going. And we were getting pushed around in that 10-1 stretch, and it really was, Ruben, you're right, it wore us down. It wore the defensive line down.
And what really has me heated right now also, that even if they'd have stopped them and they kicked the field goal or we'd have won this game, even if we had won this game at the last minute, I'd have came out with the same energy because we got beat up, you know what I'm saying, up front. We got totally dominated, mastered up front. So even if we'd have won this game at the last minute, I still would have this same energy because
what did I say before Jake Kelly kicked the field? On that drive.
You said they're going to score.
I said if the Eagles kick the field goal, they're losing the game.
I had to go watch it by myself. I had to go watch it by myself. The last 5 minutes, I had to get up and leave because we were speaking truth, and I didn't want to hear the truth. Because I wanted to hear the truth for the last 6 or 7 weeks. I don't want to hear the truth.
Didn't have a stop.
They didn't have it.
They didn't have it in them.
And they marched right down the field. It was interesting because you saw the onside kick, and you're thinking, why? But that enabled the Cardinals to get the ball back. It was actually a pretty heads-up play, obviously, by Jonathan Gannon, who's much maligned, and he had his share of criticism.
I still hate him. I hate him even more now.
People were booing the Eagles more. They were booing Jonathan Gannon by the end of this game. It's just mind-blowing when you think about where we were. We were talking about a 1 seed, and now you're thinking the only way you get a home playoff game is if you win out next week and then Dallas loses to the
Commanders. Was I high last week? I guess I was high. I was smoking too much Chiba or something because I was thinking that, I was thinking first or second seed. What is wrong with me? I mean, I'm going to leave that Kool-Aid on.
You want to believe
absolutely.
It. We saw the flaws.
Through and through. Yes,
I'll give Ruben,
I want to believe.
Ruben's probably more negative than anybody. He had this game 31-29.
31-29.
We laughed at him. Get out of here.
There's no way.
Because this is who they are.
Yeah.
When's the last time they put a team away?
Hey,
you mentioned it in our pregame show. What was it, 7 different times they had double-digit leads?
It's now 9 games that they've led by 10 points or more. They've only won 2 of them by 10 or more points, and they've lost 3 of them. So when they're up 10 points, they're more likely to lose than to win by 10 points. That's not good.
Is that mentality? Is that coaching?
I think it's everything.
That personnel? Okay.
I think it's personnel. I think it's coaching. I think there's something missing when you can't put a team away. And this is a problem even early in the season. This isn't just a late season thing. I mean, opening day, they were up 16 against the Patriots and won by 5. This has been a year-long struggle to put teams away. They just haven't. They did it with Tampa. They did it with the Vikings, but they just can't put teams away. And I think you have to look at everything. You have to look at the coaching staff, at the whole staff. You have to look at the personnel, which is going to have to change dramatically. You have to get younger on defense and figure a lot of things out. But it's a problem. I mean, it's the same pattern repeating every single week. They're up. What was the halftime? They were up 15. Did you feel comfortable? Did you feel confident? No.
We had to look at the stats. We had a 99-yard touchdown pass. And we're getting...
Yeah, because it blew everything kind of out.
That's the only stop they got was Sidney Jones' pick 6 was the only defensive stop they got.
Sidney Brown, yeah.
Would I say Sidney Jones?
He wishes, but yes, it's Sidney Brown.
I mean, Jalen Reagor had a touchdown.
He did, from the jump.
You know, you touched on it, run
the ball.
We came out for Brian Johnson's culpable in getting away from the run.
Run the ball twice on the first drive. Run the ball twice. And then we passed the ball.
It was 3rd and 5. So, I mean, you're not going to run it on 3rd and 5 in your own 30-yard line.
They did.
You could.
They did.
And they're better at it.
Yes, they are.
The Eagles are not a good running team.
The Eagles aren't a good passing team either, but they can run the damn ball better than what they did.
They had more luck throwing the ball than running the ball. And, look, I'd like to see a more balanced offense, but that's not the problem.
Does anyone in this league think that when the Eagles get in crunch time, do they know what they're going to do?
No.
Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Well, all of a sudden,
that
late in
last
the game-
sequence was.
Well, I don't know what it was. Like, it's like, hey, just follow number one. That's where the play is going. Okay, Jalen, the guy just went, go ahead and win it. The guy can't go out every week and make every play to win the darn football game. We said it to be that second half they came out and ran the football and looked damn good doing it. We knew in the first half they needed to come out and run the damn football. They didn't. Someone's culpable for the play calling.
You have to.
They had third and longs where they're not going to run it. When they had third and shorts, they ran it. They ran it in the second half. I mean, I think the game just didn't lend itself to running a ton. They didn't have a lot of plays, and the passing game was working fairly well. Jalen threw 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, they were doing some good things on offense, but that last drive before the field goal, I mean, what was that?
It was like he was in killing the clock mode, which
It was like we're going to set up for a field goal here.
Yeah.
When your defense just gave up 10 straight touchdowns.
Yeah, you don't want to set up for that.
I don't know what that was.
Especially when, like you mentioned, it was 4 straight, in the second half, 4 straight